Hello, the internet. Donna here again. I hope that you took a moment to look up there and check out my little introduction video. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about myself, but I want to talk about Mischief Soap Company and tell you how it started. I didn't just wake up one day and think, you know what? I'm going to find a way to make money, because let me promise you, there's not a lot of money in soap. So if that's what I did, I picked the wrong thing. No, actually, the way that we started, it was a hobby, but not until there was a need for the hobby. Back in 2012, I met my husband and his 3-year-old son, Peter. Peter had just turned 3. Right after we moved in together, Peter came to live with us, and this child had absolutely the worst eczema I have ever seen. I had had eczema myself, and I still do, but not like Pete. I had never seen anything like Pete's eczema. This kid was red. He was flaky. His skin felt like sandpaper on his back. It was a mess, if I'm honest. And it was so bad that when we took him to the park to play at the splash pad, we could not let him be in the water for longer than 15, 20 minutes, or it would exacerbate his eczema and make it angry. He would itch, it would hurt, it would bother him, and it was just so terrible. He was only 3, just turned 3, and was dealing with this ever since he was a eensy baby. When he was a eensy baby, there's pictures, and he's red. He's just blotchy as you please, and it just broke my heart. So I set about, and his father, we set about going to the stores, going to the drugstores and scooping up whatever we could find to try and help this kid with his eczema. And we tried the over-the-counter stuff. We tried prescription stuff, and none of it really did much. Pete would get relief temporarily, but it wasn't any kind of lasting anything. And I thought, we're putting an awful lot of chemicals on this baby, because when you're 3, you're still a baby. You're a baby. You can't say the R sound. You say "wuh." The twuck is wed. You're a baby. So, and to see a baby go through some mess, it hurts my heart. So I thought I can do better than this. And I dug up some base knowledge that I had about making soap and making salves from what my grandmother used to do. And my grandmother, who raised my brother and I, stuff that she had kept around the house and made up for us when we were young. So I got ingredients. I researched ingredients. I did so much research, and came up with this soap. It looked like snot. It absolutely looked like a big ball of snot in the bottom of this bowl. It was so nasty. But it worked. It worked. It helped. So we added other things to it, figured out how to make it not snotty, figured out how to put it into a hard bar of soap, and made a loaf of this soap. Once I got it to solidify into a nice solid bar, I'm telling you, if you mix up African soap and try to make body wash out of it, African black soap, you're gonna end up with it looks like coal miners' boogers. It's bad if you do it wrong. And I did it wrong. But it was fine to use it. It just had the most disgusting texture you would ever find in a body wash ever. But anyway, so we made this soap bar. We made a bar because bottle of boogers is not something that a 3-year-old is going to let you use on them. Okay. So I tried a lot of different ingredients, got it into a bar form, oatmeal, olive oil, shea butter, sunflower oil. There's a bunch of stuff in there. Finally found a combination over time that worked and helped the eczema, and it cleared up enough, and it stayed that way. As long as we used this, and we made a lotion to go with it, and then I made a spray conditioner for his hair to get it out of his scalp too, because I didn't want to wash his hair with soap and leave it stripped of all of its natural oils and whatnot. So yeah. So when family would come and take Pete, and that's his name, it's Pete, if I didn't mention that already, and take Peter to the park with their kids or to the lake for fishing for the weekend to visit the grandparents or wherever, they would come back. Holy cow, what are you using on Pete? He looks awesome. Well, I made something. You made it? Sure did. Yep, sure did. And so the question started, and the question is, do you have any extra? Can I have some? I want to keep some at my house for Pete. Cool. So we give it out. They keep it at their house for Pete. And then we get phone calls about a month later. I'm out of that soap. Pete hasn't been over there lately. No, I like it. Do you have any more? Okay. So we make extras for family. And then friends of the family start asking, what I heard about what you made for Pete. Can you make some extra next time you make some? And then it came, I'll buy it from you. And by this point, by the time people started offering to give me money for my little concoction, which I did name it after the kid I made it for. I call it the Pete Bar. That's how it's listed on the website, and that's been its name for 10 years. So it's not changing. The formula is not changing. He still uses it. It still keeps his skin cleared up. I make no claims that will happen for anyone else. It is not a drug. It is not a remedy. It is a bar of soap. Okay, let me be very clear about that. However, by the time folks started offering money for me to make extras of Pete's things, I had really turned the whole soap and lotion and hair conditioner thing into a hobby. I made colorful soap. Now, mind you, Pete's soap, the Pete Bar, never has colors or fragrances or even essential oils added to it because it just will flare up his skin like this. So his stuff, very, very clean, very, very devoid of all of that. It is ingredients. It is turned into soap, and that is the end of that. Okay, but I was having fun working on other projects. I was making little Lego men and Lego bars, like Lego brick bars for my nieces and nephews. And I was making beard balm for my best friend's husband's epic beard. And, just playing around with all this stuff, and found that it turned into a hobby. And the hobby was fun, but the hobby was expensive. So I thought, maybe my hobby can pay for itself somehow. And so I got a business license, I got some liability insurance for it, and I got a sales tax permit, and Mischief Soap Co. was born. Now, mind you, back in 2014, when I started this company, it was not called Mischief Soap Co. It was called something else, and you could not read it on my label. You could read it, but you couldn't pronounce it. I promise you couldn't pronounce it. Nobody could pronounce it, and it irked me. It irked my brain. It's like, why can't you say it? Why can't you say it? So I changed it to Mischief Soap Company, and it's been that way ever since. From Tulsa to our move in Iowa, we're restarting things now, and so that's how the company came to be. Thanks for having a look.